All right, let's talk about something we all feel pretty much every day: workplace intensity. Now, it can be a really good thing, right? It drives us. But when it gets out of control, it can absolutely wreck a team. So, how do you get a handle on it? We're going to dig into this really cool framework that says leaders aren't just managers, they're actually architects of their team's culture.
Okay, stick with me here, because this is a pretty wild analogy. Culture and blockchain? What's the connection? Well, think about it. A blockchain is just a shared, permanent record of every transaction. And this idea suggests that, your team's culture works exactly the same way.
And this is the part that really matters. Every single thing a leader does, how you handle a crisis, what wins you celebrate, who gets that promotion, that's a transaction. Your team members, they're the distributed ledgers. They're all recording these actions. And over time, that becomes the culture. It's the unwritten rule book. So great leaders have to be intentional architects, carefully designing the culture they want, one decision at a time.
But what happens when that blueprint, that architectural plan, is flawed? Or even worse, what if there's no plan at all? Well, you end up in what's called the red zone. And this is where intensity stops being a feature and becomes a destructive bug in the system. It's what happens when the cultural plan just goes completely off the rails.
So what does this red zone actually feel like? I'm willing to bet you've been there. It's that feeling of being busy all the time, just constantly running, but not actually getting anywhere meaningful. There are three key symptoms that pop up when a team really starts to lose control.
First up, the team starts prioritizing frequency over actual value. You become this incredibly efficient machine just churning out work at a crazy pace. But the most important question gets totally lost in the shuffle. Is any of this actually useful for the customer? The goal becomes just hitting a deadline, not making an impact.
Second, you start to see a focus on activity over impact. Your hiring, your budget, it all starts shifting toward roles that are basically just there to keep the machine running, to push for deadlines. You end up valuing project management more than product improvement. It's all about how much you did, not whether it mattered.
And number three, this one really stings. Repetition starts to crowd out any kind of learning. There's this sense of saturation. Team members feel like they're on a hamster wheel, just repeating the same cycles again and again with no real growth. It's like if you've done one quarter, you've pretty much done them all.
Now, I love this because it takes a concept from economics to explain the human cost: diminishing marginal utility. Sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means the more you have of something, the less satisfaction you get from each new piece. In this case, the something is your work. The satisfaction, the learning, it all goes down with every single repetitive cycle.
So that's the problem. How do we fix it? If you're the architect, how do you redesign this broken system? Well, the good news is you're not helpless. You have a toolkit, and there are three specific tools, three levers you can pull to get things back into a healthy place.
These are the three things you, as the architect, have direct control over. First, how the work itself is designed. Second, what you choose to reward. And third, how you manage or create urgency. Let's break each one down.
Okay, tool number one, work design. It sounds fancy, but it really just boils down to two things. A specific area of focus, like say, let's improve our app's boot time, and a unit of time to do it in, like a quarter or a sprint. That simple combination pretty much dictates everything your team does.
And that brings us to a magic number: 3. There's a crucial rule of thumb here, the 3-work unit tenet. It's super simple. If your team's main focus stays exactly the same for more than 3 of those work units in a row, so 3 quarters or 3 big sprints, your results are going to start to go downhill, for the customer and for your team. The secret is to architect a change after that 3rd cycle. Keep it fresh. On to our second tool, reward design. Think about it. When there's a crisis, a big fire, who do you call? Your heroes, your firefighters, right? It feels great to reward them for swooping in, but what if that same building catches fire every single week? You might discover that by constantly rewarding the firefighter, you're accidentally encouraging people to start fires.
So the solution is to get really explicit about what you're rewarding. A framework like this one, a looks like / does not look like, is perfect. You make it clear. We reward the problem solver who creates a permanent fix, not the firefighter who keeps slapping on temporary band-aids. That clarity changes behavior overnight.
And the final tool in the architect's kit is all about managing artificial urgency. This is a huge one. It's about that gap between your internal deadlines, all the releases and sign-offs, and what your customers actually give a damn about. Just because you shipped 4 times this month doesn't mean you delivered any value.
The fix here is almost deceptively simple, but it's so powerful. Start with why. For every single goal, every project, make sure it connects back to a real customer problem. Your goals can be the smartest goals in the world, but if they don't solve something for a real person, they're just noise. This one little change forces all the right conversations.
So let's zoom out and pull this all together. When you start thinking like an architect and you intentionally use these 3 tools, work design, reward design, and managing urgency, you can actually create a real blueprint for a better way to work.
And this is the ultimate goal. I mean, yeah, avoiding burnout and having people stick around is great, but it's bigger than that. By being a conscious architect of intensity, you build a workplace of choice, a place where the best people want to be, because they know they can do amazing work without getting destroyed in the process.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Looking at these 3 levers, how your work is designed, what gets rewarded, and the why behind your deadlines, what's the one dial in your own work that you can reach out and adjust starting today? Thanks for joining me.